So the titles are in the fridge, and then he opens up the fridge and grabs his sandwich or whatever, and the camera goes through the fridge like on over the counter like onto his back where he's cooking, and then he's like chopping up whatever, and it's like and then he's eating his meal on the counter, and then he goes to the living room, turns on the TV, watches TV. He's watching the news, and it's about this big scandal about how businessmen are doing drugs and how they need to do screen tests because they're all getting fired for like this unknown drug. And so he's going to bed that night, and he's sleeping, and he hears these people in his house, so he turns on his light, but then he turns it off because they're coming up the stairs, and he doesn't know what to do, and so he's just sitting in his bed like, what the fuck should I do? And so when he hears them going to his door, he runs to the door and like tries to block them, but they kick it down on him, and he falls down. And so one of them grabs a lamp and like beats him with it, and then they kick him when he's down, and then they pull him onto the bed, and they like hold him down, and then one of them injects him with this like serum drug, and he knocks out, and he wakes up, and everything is gone in this fucking house, and he looks, and the only thing that's there is this suit, and he's like, why the fuck would they leave me this suit? But he puts it on and goes to work anyways. And then this guy knocks on his cubicle, and it's like, yo, it's time to take the piss test, and everyone's like so happy, they don't really care, but he's just like, fuck, I'm gonna fail. And so he sees all the chicks, and they're like, whatever, and he grabs his little container, and he's just like, fuck, man, I'm gonna lose this test. And so he puts down his piss, and then he walks out, and like his piss is the one that's all cloudy and shit. And his boss is like super chill. It's like, yo, you're gonna be fired, but I got some bomb ass OJ if you want to try some. Like, it's fucking dope. And the guy's just like, dude, I'm fucking fired, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't give a shit about your OJ. And so he walks out, and he throws his like all his shit out, and he looks down, and he sees this coffee cup, and he doesn't think about coffee cups the same way he did before, like coffee versus change to hold. And so now he's homeless, like homeless for a while in the scene. And he just saw a gang member from his house like walk down in the subway, and so he follows him. And you see the camera go past him and like onto the gang member, like walking down through the subway, like onto the tracks, going through the tracks, like through the tunnel, to this uh, door, taking off the wood that's blocking it, and like walking through, and then going past his homeless guy watching TV who's watching the news, and the scandal's getting worse, and like nobody knows what the fuck's going on with it. And so as he's watching it, the main guy like walks up behind him and hits him with a brick, and then the guy falls over, and he takes the TV, and he like smashes him on his head, and then he realized that this guy's just a pawn, and he has like no big play. And so he turns around, and he sees one of the guys that was in his house, and he's like, I fucking know you from my house. Like, who who are you guys? What are you guys doing? And he's like formulating what's going on, and as he's doing that, the guy gets angry, and he hits him in the face, and then as he's looking up, the guy bats him again with the shotgun, and so he knocks out, and he wakes up and in this fucking dark room, and he looks around, and all he sees is like the main boss homeless guy, and he's got all these little plans that formulate like the big idea. And the guy's like, man, this guy's insane. And he's telling him his plan, and he realized that all the druggings and stuff was his idea, just to dominate the system and like his society. And so he chokes the main guy, and knocks him out, and then leaves him on the street. And then a cop wakes him up, and all he can really see is like the cop's thoughts. Like, he doesn't even see the cop as a person, and then he goes to like normal, but he doesn't see people as people anymore. Like, all he can see is their ideas, and he realized that everyone's just thinking the same bullshit. Like, nobody's alive anymore. And so he walks to the corner, and he sees this McDonald's, and he's like, man, I don't want to eat that fucking shit tonight. And so he sees this Starbucks, and like he walks into this ritzy place, and he knows that the guy doesn't want him there. Like, he's closing up. He's like, get the fuck out of here. So he orders the food, and then he smashes the guy's head into the counter and onto the glass siding. And then this is like when he first gets his little crew, and they like start robbing places, and they break into this McDonald's and like beat the shit out of like the two dudes who work there, and like rob the place of all the burgers and burn down the place because they fucking hate it. And then this is like when they meet up for the final riot, and the main guy is sizing up with the main gang member guy, and they're both like at the same points, you know. But the main guy gets shot by a cop, and the gang member guy grabs the cop and like kills him. And one of the homeless guys steps up and says like, "Yo, this isn't what we're about," you know. So one of the gang members shoots that guy, and fucking chaos goes, and everyone's just fighting, you know, the good guys versus the bad guys. And then like this, the guys realizing like this cop busts in and shoots one of them, and then everyone just fucking snaps, and they all run through the streets, and like they run through the subway and they start killing people, and like the riot goes what the gang guy wanted it to be, and like everyone dies, like even the fucking gang members died, and you just see everyone dead. And then the only people who aren't dead are like the people in suits who like really didn't give a shit about